Good morning, third graders. Today we are on page 183 of your student journal, and we are in Unit 11, Lesson 12. We are going to be moving into something a little different today. So we've been discussing volume, which is the amount of space inside an object, and today we are moving into something called mass. So if you look at the top, it says measure and estimate mass. We're actually not going to be measuring since we're at home and we don't have the correct tools. So we're not going to be measuring, but we are going to be estimating mass, and we'll talk about what that means in just a moment. So our goal or our objective is today I will estimate the mass of an object using standard units of grams. Sorry, that got in the way. It's grams is G-R-A-M-S. Grams and kilograms. Oh, and kilograms. I'm making mistakes, boys and girls. I'm sorry. Okay. So our goal is today I will estimate the mass of an object using standard units of grams and kilograms. Okay, because it's something new, we are going to spend quite a bit of time looking at our new vocabulary and discussing what these words actually mean. So mass says it's a measure of how much matter is in an object. So you might have heard of the word matter in science. Matter is what everything in the entire universe is made up of. Matter is kind of like stuff that makes up other things. So a lot of times we think of mass as weight. So here on Earth, your mass is measured by your weight. You stand on a scale, and that tells us how much matter is inside your body. Now, the reason they use the word mass and not weight is because some of you might know this, but when you go to space, if I was to go to space today, my weight would be different because what pulls me onto the scale on Earth is gravity, and that's how the scale is actually able to measure how much mass is inside my body. But if I was to go to space and there's not gravity, then nothing could pull me down, so my weight would be different. So your weight might change, your mass never changes. So I still have the same matter in my body regardless of where I go. Okay, so I'm just going to put next to this that it's similar. So I'm going to put weight because it's very similar to weight. Okay, our next word is estimate, and it's an approximation, prediction, or projection of a quantity based on experience. We've talked about this. They use this symbol. I was using this symbol that you often see. It just means an about answer. Then they give us a picture of a scale, and they tell us 1,000 grams equals 1 kilogram. A gram is a very tiny measurement. So if you look down here, it tells us what a gram equals. A gram equals 1 paper clip. Imagine how little a paper clip weighs. Hardly anything. Even when you get a box of paper clips, it hardly weighs anything. But a gram is how much 1 paper clip weighs. And they tell us a kilogram is about a bunch of bananas. So imagine if you went to the grocery store and you didn't get just 1 or 2 or 3 bananas, but you got one of the giant bunches, maybe with like 8 or 9 bananas. A kilogram is a little bit more than 2 pounds. So it's going to be a pretty big bunch of bananas. They also give us some other information here. We're not going to really worry about that too much. We're going to really focus on those 2 measurements, ladies and gentlemen, that a gram is a paper clip and a kilogram is a bunch of bananas. Okay, so our steps today say we're going to use what you know about mass of common objects to estimate the mass of other objects. And then we're going to check to make sure your estimate is reasonable. Okay, so I'm going to show you what this actually looks like. So if you notice my first problem that I would do with you if we were in the classroom, talks about using object from the school and estimating it and then actually measuring it. We don't have that ability right now, so we're actually going to skip this problem, and you're going to be skipping some problems in your book as well. Okay, so I'm going to move on to number 2. Number 2 says, match the objects to the estimated weight. Okay, so this one says it's 100 grams. So remember, a gram is a paper clip. So think about how much 100 paper clips would weigh. Okay, this one says 2 kilograms. Remember, a kilogram is a bunch of bananas. So think about how much a banana weighs. So 2 bunches, I could say, 2 bunches of bananas. And then 22 kilograms would be 22 bunches of bananas. And we're going to use those to help guide us what our answers are. Okay, so now that I kind of have that and I can look at it, now I can make kind of a guess. So which one, I might start off with which one's the most? 100 paper clips, 2 bunches of bananas, or 22 bunches of bananas? I think this is the most. And of my objects, which one do I think weighs the most? Do we agree that our bike probably weighs the most? So I'm going to give it the largest measurement. Okay, of these ones, which one do I think weighs the most? A pen or a cake? Because I have 100 paper clips or 2 bunches of bananas, which weighs more than paper clips. Do we agree, hopefully, that the cake probably weighs more than the pen? And I think that would go there then. So I use this idea of paper clips and bunches of bananas to help me solve the problems. Okay, so let's look at some together. We're on page 184, and if you notice, boys and girls, your first one looks like my first one, where we actually need to measure, so we're going to skip that one. So you can just cross it off. And we're gonna move on down to number 2. So number 2 says, match the objects to the estimated weight. Okay, so what I see is 150 grams. Remember, grams are paper clips. So 150 paper clips. Okay, 1 kilogram, and kilogram would be 1 bunch of bananas. And this is 27 kilograms, so 27 bunches of bananas. Okay, so now let's think about, well, which one's the largest measurement? 150 paper clips, 1 bunch of bananas, or 27 bunches of bananas? Isn't this one going to weigh the most? I would completely think so. So which of these items do you think weighs the most? And hopefully you're saying the little girl or the lady. Okay, then we have these 2 measurements, which this one weighs the next. So what do you think would weigh more, an apple or a birdhouse? I'm thinking, a birdhouse I think weighs more, which means that I think the apple weighs about the same as 150 paper clips. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go through this with you because you're going to have to cross off some problems. So on page 185, I want you to cross off number 1, but I want you to do number 2. Okay, let's look at page 186. On page 186, I want you to cross this one off, but I want you to try number 4 and 5. And then on page 187, I want you to try number 1, or on page 187, I want you to try number 6. Okay, have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.